Hello, my name is Allison Martin and I am a trombone player. Today I'm here to talk about the trombone slide. Most decent trombones have one. We don't talk about valve trombones. I've been teaching trombone for a while now, and I tend to see very similar habits in newer players that are picking up the trombone for the first time. Today I'm going to go over 3 things that I see the most commonly in beginner players, and I'll show you how to fix them. Habit number 1, the fist. So full disclaimer, anything I tell you that you should or shouldn't do doesn't really matter, because I'm just one trombone player in a sea of amazingly talented people who probably do things much differently than I do. So just because I like to do something a certain way, it's not necessarily going to help you as much as me, but I do think it's worth trying. Experimentation is absolutely what makes us better players, so feel free to give these things a shot. The fist is a very common thing I see with newer players. The slide is big, the trombone is big, and the slide can be weird at first, kind of clunky, so what we usually end up doing is something like this. Now you can do that, and that's fine, but I think there's going to be a point you reach where you're not going to be able to keep up with the music on the page. It's going to be too fast, and a fist means that we're being a little bit too stiff. We got to loosen up a little bit. Now personally, when I play, I don't like to keep my hand at the top of the slide, because to me it makes me lose a little bit of distance way out there in 6th and 7th position. I'm short. I need all the length I can get. So what I want to do is anchor my middle finger and first finger at the very bottom of the hand slide, right here, right at this crook where this hand brace meets the rest of the slide. My middle finger will go right in that crevice, and my first finger is going to go right above it here. My thumb is just kind of chilling out on the other side, right across from the middle finger. And with this grip, I'm going to be able to move the slide farther out. Look at this hand stretch. Look at it. Look at it. I'm going to be able to get more length, and I'm going to be able to move a lot smoother. Can you see how much my hand is just sort of flopping about? You can see my fingers aren't always in the same static shape. I'll use my fingers to my advantage to snap the slide in place when I need to get that length when I need to. So I think instead of the fist, this grip right here, right hand, that is what is going to make you a good player. Second thing, the wrist. So the second thing I see with a lot of beginner players is the wrist being very, very tight and very firm with no flexibility at all. And what that's going to do is it's going to put all of the work on your elbow. That means that when you play things later on that are faster and more complicated, you're going to have a time trying to keep up because your elbow is just not fast enough. Why am I trying to saw a tree down right now? So if I only use my elbow and no wrist at all, we're gonna have a slide movement that looks like this. And that's okay, but if I play like, I feel a lot of tension, it hurts, I'm not a fan. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna kind of ease up on the fingers. First of all, we're gonna use just the tips, use that flexibility I talked about before, and I'm gonna just move my wrist like this. The idea is Indiana Jones and his whip. I don't know if you people out there know who Indiana Jones is these days, but if you do, he has a whip and he just slings it like this. So let's see what happens if I do that. So we see this slingy motion. It's wrist, and for me, it's hand, because I just like to use my hands. Why not? So this kind of motion, and you notice my thumb is just hopping out of nowhere, right? So this is something you're going to get a feel for the more you do it. But the first step is absolutely flexible wrist. You're going to be able to snap to where you need to go. You're going to be able to move a lot quicker with a lot less tension. That's what we're going for, the wrist. And the third thing, the speed. The third thing is the most important thing about trombone playing, in my opinion. What I'm about to tell you is the #1 thing that trombone players, when they first start out, do not spend enough time doing, and eventually it leads to very muddy and unclear playing. This is the secret to be a better trombone player, in my opinion, and that is slide speed. Now, I feel like humans are typically musical beings from a young age. Maybe that's not right, but I feel like it is. And one thing I feel that we tend to do based on the music that we hear is we want to move our bodies in a way that expresses that music. And that's relevant here because what I tend to see a lot is a trombone player that's playing something very slow, beautiful tune, and so their slide will start to move very slowly and beautifully like this. Now let me actually show you what happens when you play that way. Didn't sound quite right, did it? It sounds a little smeary, right? Sounds like it was sort of hard to tell where the notes start and stop because I'm playing what I call the sad clown trombone. If I'm not moving my slide fast enough, we get these little mini smears between the notes, like this. Now let's see what happens when I utilize my new grip, my super brand new Indiana Jones wrist, and my slide speed. Did you catch it? All the notes were very even, yes, but also the changes between the notes were instant, just like you press down a valve on a trumpet or lift the finger on the clarinet. That's the idea that we have to achieve in trombone playing, something we don't spend enough time doing. As a general rule, I think it's safe to say that the slower we're playing, the faster our slide is going to need to snap in place. And the faster we're playing, the slower the slide is typically going to move, whereas the timing will be more important. For example, how about, I don't know, Flight of the Bumblebee? Okay, look, it wasn't perfect, all right? I'm not that good, but it does illustrate the point that when you play faster, your slide is more about the pace rather than snapping to each note. Because it's so fast, we can't do that. But if I'm gonna play half notes, like I would in, say, I don't know, my first 3 years of band, I need to snap to my spot very, very quickly, and I need to stay there. That's what the wrist is gonna help you do, and that's what the grip is gonna help you do, and that's what the slide speed is gonna help you do. And that's it. Those are the 3 things you can do to really make your trombone playing even better than it already is. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, I am Allison Martin of Allison Martin Trombone. You can of course find me here on YouTube, but you can also email me about lessons at allisonmartintrombone@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. I have a Patreon, all that good stuff. So if you're interested, feel free to check all that out, and happy playing.